Hi guys, my name is Yury, and in this third video in my playlist about 10 most important rules for financial modeling in Microsoft Excel, I'm excited to introduce you how to deal with formats of numbers. The general rule is that they should be readable and concise, and there are two main mistakes which I see people make while working with formats. Mistake number one, people include too many digits in numbers. And mistake number two, they include too many decimals. Let's start with the first one. So imagine you have a large number like this. Can you read it? Can you tell me how big is this number? Is it 12 billion or 1.2 billion or 124 billion? It's impossible to understand. So if you have a large number, you should either round it to the nearest number of billions and add a decimal place if needed, or if you need to keep the whole number in the screen, always use separators between digits to make users easily understand that it's 12 billion, not 1.2, not 124, 12 billion. Also, if you calculate some probability or growth rate, I see it very often that people include too many digits, too many decimal places, and say that this number looks more precise. Well, it doesn't. For probabilities, for instance, the maximum number of decimal places which you need is 2. This number looks way more concise and clear for people, while this one is really hard to read. Alright, let's cover the second mistake, which is adding irrelevant decimals. Here, for instance, do you really need this precision? Do you really need to see these 0.24% added on top of 21? No. And if not, of course, we have to round it to the nearest integer, to the nearest number of whole percents, which is 21 in this case. And also, keep in mind that Microsoft Excel, for some formats, for instance, for currencies, by default, if we go here, by default, it keeps these 2 decimal places, but you almost never need them. So if you have a number formatted in currency, look, I choose a currency format and it gives me these 2 decimal places. I don't need them. In 99% of the cases, I don't need them. So I always round it up to the nearest integer. Based on the rules we have just covered, let me show you how I choose formats for numbers in my financial models. For instance, here I have an error margin, and this error margin is 0.01%. And this is the most appropriate number for this cell, right? It shouldn't be looking like this. And I also cannot do it this way, because then I won't understand that it is 0.01. Now if we go to the bottom, for instance, here I'm distributing the demand on these products, and they should add up to 100%. Do I need to keep these numbers in this format? Of course not, because these two zeros in decimal places do not give any value, so I keep them rounded to the nearest integer. However, I don't stick to this format always. So if we go here, for instance, in inflation I decided to keep 1 decimal place. Or here, in the power consumption of one of the devices, I have chosen a format with 1 decimal place. However, when I input the duration of one session, I don't need that precision. I don't need to keep this number with decimal points. That's why I round it up to the nearest integer. So I suggest you always think about appropriate formats for your numbers. And here, for instance, when I calculate margins, I don't add these useless percentages, because here I have 54%. Let's zoom in a little bit. Right here I have 54%, and imagine I add 2 decimal points and it becomes 53, 59. How does this number gives me additional information? It doesn't. So I always have to keep it rounded to the nearest integer. Thanks for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video.